Okay, y'all, this dress is not going to require a pattern. I'm just going to give you the measurements for each piece, and I'm trying to do this so that it's a little easier for beginners to do. So there are going to be some steps that are going to look a little different to you veteran seamstresses. I just want to make this easier with less steps to do to help new beginners get used to their sewing machines. And I want to say this is for a 3 to 4 year old, but that's just an average. You really need to measure the child that you're making this for. So, okay, for this middle part of the dress, I've cut it 13 inches long by 20 inches, and that's 2 pieces of fabric each cut on the fold. So that's 13 inches this way, and then 20 inches that way. So every piece is going to be 20 inches wide. So, you know, there's no question of that. Okay, for this bottom band piece, I've cut it 8 inches long by, of course, 20 inches, and that's 2 pieces that are 8 by 20. Okay, and then for this ruffle piece, I have cut those 4.5 inches wide by 20, and I've cut 2 of those on the fold. So it's 20 inches when you open it up, not 20 inches folded. So you cut it 10 inches on the fold, and then when you open it, it's 20. And then for this second ruffle, I've cut it 3.5 inches by 20 inches, and I've cut 2 of those. And then for this band, I've cut this 2.5 inches by 20 inches each. So each piece, you're going to have 2 pieces for the body of the dress, basically. And they're all cut on the fold, you can see. So, okay, and for the straps, you're going to have 4 pieces, and I've cut these 2.5 inches wide. I wanted to make them as narrow as I possibly could without making them too narrow to turn, because that step's going to be difficult for newbies. But it's 2.5 inches wide by 18 inches long, and you're going to cut 4 of those, and those are going to be sewn and turned. So, okay, I'm also going to be using a 1/2 inch wide elastic, and we'll cut that when we get to that step. Okay, so my first step is going to be to sew all of these strap pieces, and you just want to fold them with right sides facing together, and you're going to have a folded side and an open side. You're going to sew down that open side, doing about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and that way when you turn it, it's going to come out to be about 1 inch wide. So, you know, I'm just going to do that with each one of the straps, and I'll do that in a speed up. You guys can watch it, and then we will do the turning and all that fun stuff. So here we go. Here are our straps for the sundress, and now we just need to turn them, and there's a lot of different ways you can do that, but I haven't really found anything that's easy. I bought this little tool one time that's supposed to make it like a snap to turn these things like this, and it had a flimsy piece of plastic with it and it just made it harder. Anyway, to the point. So what I'm going to do is it's always good to have certain things on hand. One thing is, if you sew, always have a pack of safety pins, not a safety pin, because a safety pin might break, might bend, might mess up. So get a pack of them. They're really cheap, couple bucks at Walmart or other craft stores. But have a pack so that you always have them around. Another thing to always have around is some kind of twine or sturdy ribbon or something. I have gross grain ribbon here. I can't find my twine, which is what I wanted to use, but I'm going to cut a piece of this ribbon just a little over the length of the strap. And since it is gross grain ribbon and not twine like I wanted, I'm going to fold over a little bit and put the safety pin through that fold. I'm going to close up the safety pin. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this pin through the strap. And this is probably, I want to say in my opinion, the best method for doing this so that you don't damage the strap. If you use a dowel and you're pushing, and especially the more narrow this is, you could really end up tearing the fabric, or you know, just making a mess of your strap. Okay, so now I'm just going to start feeding this down through here, and I'm going to speed it up, but what I want to do is start by feeding the piece over the safety pin. Okay, so now that you have all of your straps turned right side out, what you want to do is line that seam up to where it is in the middle. Must be a little bit tricky, but you can do it. I know you can. So kind of just get it back there and hold it down, and then you want to press each. Okay, so there you have it. Here are our 4 straps, and we're going to close up one end with a zigzag stitch to make it neater. Okay, so what you want to do is go to your machine and put on a really tight zigzag stitch, which means put it on your zigzag and then put it on a low number, like maybe 2 or between 2 and 3. Okay, so now that we've got these straps done, we can just set those aside and we can start working on the body of the dress. And you might see that some of my cut is off, and especially if I'm not using a pattern and I'm cutting the pieces as I go, I just trim those up and fix them as I go. So there's nothing wrong with a little discrepancy, but if you have like 2 or 3 inches difference in one piece from the other, you may have measured something wrong and you want to go back and check your measurements. But you see here, like I have a little bit of a difference. I'm just going to trim that off because I know that when I was cutting them, I may have cut a little too much on this piece. So what I'm going to do with right sides facing together is I'm going to sew these bands that will be the top of the dress and the bottom of the dress. I'm going to sew the front and I'm going to sew the back, and then I'm going to sew those together. Okay, so for these kind of ruffles and the top band, the first thing we want to do is we're going to connect all of the pieces to their right piece. So with right sides facing together, we'll connect that top band, or the top ruffle, sort of faux ruffle. We're not ruffling anything. Then for the middle band that's going to be in between the 2 pieces to kind of hold them together. And then the bottom ruffle, we're going to connect that one. So we'll do that with right sides facing together and just sew the ends, the end here, the end here, the end here, end here. Don't connect these to each other right now. So here you have it. I've sewn my 3 pieces together, the 2 little ruffles and the band piece that's going to go in the middle. Now I just want to press the seams open on all the ends. So the first thing that we are going to do, and I'm going to add this really quick so that you understand. I press these seams open on this because it's going to be so close to under the child's arms that you don't want it to cause any bulk and irritation. So, I mean, you can see where I did the tight zigzag on the inside of the dress piece, but, you know, this being close to the underarms, you don't want to have that cause any irritation. So, anyway, turn this dress part right side out. Okay, so what we want to do with this is we are going to put it wrong side to right side. So you've got the dress right side out, the band right side, the band or ruffle or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be right side out as well. And what I'm going to do is line up the side seams and pin them. And then I'm going to just sew tight zigzag around the top here. Just it'll finish it up neater, and I've got other steps to do, so I don't want a lot of bulk in my stitching. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is add our band, and the band we're going to do right sides facing together so that we can turn the band upwards after we've sewn it on. Okay, so you can see this is what we have after we've sewn the band on, and we want to take this band piece and turn it right side up, or turn it up where it's sticking up. Okay, so our next step is to sew the ruffle on, and we're going to do it the same way we did the bottom ruffle, the top ruffle. You want to join the ends together and just pin those. You know, put this right through there and pin it and sew with a zigzag stitch. Okay, so we've got the dress turned wrong side out. We've sewn all the top parts on. Sorry for the fireworks, guys. I can't do a thing about it. It's the 4th of July, and I'm trying to get my video done for y'all. So what I'm going to do with this is, this was not the most, I thought I had thought out this pattern and had it planned perfect, but I'm having so many issues with it right now I could cry. But I'm giving you guys a sewing tutorial, so here we go. What I'm going to do with this, instead of creating the casing for the elastic and then putting it in there, is I'm going to connect the elastic with a zigzag stitch right along the edge, and I'm going to pull a little bit as I go to make it fit around the dress. And I've cut 22 inches of elastic, so this is just, you know, you have to be real careful not to pull too much and not to pull too little, because if you have a lot of elastic left over when you're done, you pulled too much. Okay, so we've got the elastic sewn all the way around the top band of the dress. Now what we want to do is we're going to turn it onto itself and use a straight stitch to close it up. So, and you're going to have to pull the same as you did with when you attached it. So you can see the top looks, it actually looks pretty good, not bad at all. So now what we want to do is we are going to place our straps. I did tight zigzag stitches all around these bottom hems, and the dress is complete. Now just to put it on a model and give it a try. I have to say that off camera, this was a little frustrating for me because I was making it as I went. I actually had sketched out a plan and thought I had a good plan and had to change up a lot of things as I went along. So, a little frustrating, but hopefully following the directions that will be the end result of this tutorial, you'll be able to make this without as many mistakes as I made. This very pretty flower fabric right here was provided by myfabricdesigns.com. Not mine, it's the name of the website, so if you want to go there and check out their fabric selection. You can also design your own fabrics through myfabricdesigns.com, and you can have them printed up for yourself. You can also sell them on their site, and you get a commission for every piece of your design that is sold. And they have many different types, so if you wanted this in a stretch knit or a silk, or there's just all kinds of different polyester, everything that you can think of. This other fabric that is on here I bought at Hancock Fabrics about a year and a half ago. So Hancock is closing most of their stores down, so I don't even know where you could get this, and I can't remember what it's called, but I thought it was the best match for the dress I was making. Kind of seeing it on there now. I'm not real happy with it because I feel like it plays down this pretty My Fabric Designs fabric that I have here. So anyway, that's it. It's a finished project, and this was supposed to be for my friend Sherry to send to her daughter, but it turned out to be such a hot mess. You know, you guys don't see all of that behind the scenes. That I'm just Sherry, I'm not sending this to your daughter. But anyway, that's it, guys and gals. Hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.